Welcome back, everyone, to episode 18 of Motor Radar. It's been a jam-packed weekend of motorsport this weekend with Formula One, MotoGP, returning champions, World Superbikes and Supercars, and, beyond motorsport, there was also the Masters.
That's right, the Masters.
Yep. But what did you think of the weekend, Damo? There was a lot going on. Formula One.
So much going on. Terrible times as a fan in Australia.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Qatar, 3 a.m.
Disgusting.
Just F1 Bahrain,
1 a.m.
1 a.m.
But we do our best in Australia.
Yeah, we try. But look, moving forward, 10 o'clock Sundays MotoGP. For me. That's the start of the season. We're good to go.
100%, and that's in fact the next round for MotoGP is in Barcelona. Sorry, Jerez.
Yeah,
one of the
sick.
Spanish rounds. That's going to be restarting our 10 p.m. start, so can cuddle up on the couch and get on to.
There's nothing more than I love than a Sunday 10 p.m. MotoGP race.
Oh, it's the best.
It's grouse.
11 p.m. for Saturday night for the sprints nowadays too.
Yep.
Good fun.
The group chat's going off by that time anyway, so
100%.
That's good.
So let's start off with Formula One. We'll touch on first. Oscar Piastri won his second race of the season, the first driver to do so this season, with Norris's victory in Melbourne. Oscar got his first win in China.
Yeah.
And then Max had a dominant win in Japan. But Piastri had a pretty similar, quite commanding victory in Bahrain. Funnily enough, Bahrain was McLaren's first win there, because they've got Bahraini owners, right?
Yeah, 100%.
It's the first time they've ever won.
I was going to say that's if you had a look at when Ted was doing his notebook and the Bahraini owners were taking photos with the team. Like they pretty much own Bahrain and they own McLaren, so it's a hometown advantage for them too.
Well, I mean, they've been trying for a while, I guess, but it's nice to see that they, got it together. And
oh yeah, I'm happy for McLaren. They've got a lot of nostalgia of that team. They've been around for a long time, so happy to see them starting to dominate a bit more.
You know what was the best McLaren?
Which one? The West? Raikkonen and Coulthard?
Kimi and when they actually wrote their names as well on the side. Maybe where they didn't have countries where they didn't allow like tobacco advertising, but otherwise it was West. Never tried a West Dart, I think.
I did in Macedonia.
Did you?
Yeah, they were fucking grouse. But you know what I loved about that car too? Honestly, it had the steering wheel with just the single Mercedes symbol on it. So, obviously it's a McLaren car chassis, but they were running Mercedes They
were Mercedes factory
line.
team, right? Back then, basically.
Sort of. They were like a Mercedes customer team. It wasn't an official Mercedes team, but they did run...
That was like Mercedes' number one sort of avenue team though, right?
100%.
Back then.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I guess it's sort of a little bit like Alpine, Renault.
Yeah.
Similar sort of...
But I know the steering wheel you're talking about. It's sort of like... Do you remember Williams ones, how it was kind of cut out on the top and
it didn't have...
in the sides too?
Yeah. I know what you're saying. The Williams dash had like the actual counter attached to the chassis and the wheel didn't have... like the numbers on it. It was just like a steering wheel just with dials on it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's
now
the way
they've got my
McLaren...
cutting fucking editing skills a little down packed. I'm going to find some photos and put them in, overlay them.
Yeah, sick.
Of the steering wheel that we're talking about.
Not to put a downer on F1, but I sort of understand why it's starting to get a little bit boring. Especially China was a bit of a procession, whatever.
Just about that.
Yeah.
That's sick.
That's mad. Every single car in that grid, all right, there is some differences, but they are all pretty much the same.
You reckon?
I reckon.
What do you mean?
In terms of
fully agree.
They're not that far away from each other. I feel like back in the day when Ferrari was dominating, like they were well ahead of the pack. I guess you can't have both worlds. We complained when Red Bull was winning everything, and now we're complaining that they're all too similar. You know what I mean?
I still think it's not exactly an easy win for McLaren just yet. I mean, they had Red Bull so strong last weekend in Japan.
Yeah.
I mean, they came off pretty poorly this weekend in Bahrain, and
Did you see Max's manager losing it?
Manager.
Helmet.
I didn't see any footage, but I saw it online. People talking about it. Was there actual footage of it, or
I think there is. I don't know if there's footage, but there is like photos of Max's manager talking to Helmut and from people that were around saying that it was very heated. Max is gone. He's checked out.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't think he should leave. I don't know.
He's going to go to Aston, bro.
Yeah, but I don't think
Honda's going to Aston. Newey's at Aston. They got an unlimited budget with Lawrence. That's where he's going.
It seems like a good fit, but it seems a bit dog, if you ask me. Like,
why?
Well, I mean, you got to take the good with the bad sometimes in Formula One.
It's a cutthroat sport. There's no such thing. Not in F1, bro.
No loyalty?
No loyalty. None. Why should there be?
Look, I get it.
Bro,
but
they will drop you that quick. Look what they did to Liam.
And everyone before him.
And everyone before him.
Car,
Albon,
yeah.
Gasly.
But Max is the guy, right? Like, he's been 4-time world champion.
I know. But I don't know. Well, let's see what happens.
It does seem like a good fit to go to Aston Martin for sure. Like,
Yeah.
with Honda but Honda going to Aston. Who knows what the Ford is going to be like at Red Bull.
Mate, I got no idea.
It's
like most American garbage. Sorry.
I'm sure it's a bit of anxiety for him, you know, like what's the motor going to be like? You know, how's it going to integrate? How are Red Bull going, working it all out?
Yeah.
It's, you know, a brand new, especially, you know, Ford haven't been in Formula One.
Not for a long time. Not for a very long time.
And I think it's like purely Ford. It's not like Cosworth.
Nah, not Cosworth.
So at least there was some experience there, but it's just purely Ford. And is that just all American, you know, or is there an integration there at Milton Keynes? I don't know. But
there must be. There's got to be. There's got to be some sort of integration between them. But, you know, I don't know. They've lost a lot of key players in that team, but like obviously Newey was one of the biggest ones to go, but they have slowly started to lose key members of their staff. You know, I'm pretty sure there was a senior aerodynamicist that went to Aston.
They've lost.
Someone was poached to Alpine. I'm pretty sure.
Someone left to go to Ferrari too.
Yeah.
I believe. Forget his name, but.
So when the ship's sinking, the rats usually leave first. So.
Yeah. They've also lost Jonathan Wheatley.
He's
going to be team director, race director at the new Audi group, I think.
Oh yeah.
The stake Audi
Yep.
transition that's going on there. So yeah, I guess it looks like a sinking ship from the outside, which is a shame because I like.
I'd love to be a fly on the wall in the boardroom when they're discussing what the fuck they're going to do next. Like any team, I think it'd be mad, but we're not privy to shit like that, are we?
No, not yet at least, but
yeah, not yet at least. Could someone give us some media passes for fuck's sake?
Yeah. But yeah, as in regards to the race, George came home second, holding off a pretty fast charging Lando Norris. He started sixth and kind of made his way through the field pretty efficiently. Couldn't quite get past Russell in the last few laps for second place to make it a McLaren 1-2, but it's a 1 and 3. So
did you see some of the Hamilton and Sainz going at each other, battling?
No,
there was one point where Hamilton was trying to overtake Sainz and Sainz gave him a bit of a not a shove, but it was respectable. But it was saying you're not getting over me, mate.
I don't remember. I remember the Williams losing some of its front wing, but I think that was with a Red Bull, or maybe the other way around.
They didn't touch. I'm just saying they had a bit of a battle, that Sainz and Hamilton. But obviously, why I'm saying that is because Sainz was a former Ferrari driver, and Hamilton's the reason Sainz isn't there anymore. So. I guess, there's a bit of anger in that too.
There's a bit of background.
Yeah, respectable, but, it's good to see.
Yeah. It's tight at the top for McLaren, and they've got like a tough job, or Zach Brown does rather, managing his two drivers and I know it's very early in the season, but are they starting to shift their focus to Oscar?
Well, they should.
I know, yeah.
They should, man. That guy...
He's fast, eh?
He's fast. He's fucking ruthless.
He's got a dog.
He's got the dog in him.
You said that a while ago.
But he has such a calm demeanour. Like, he's just not phased. He just sits there. How was the race, Oscar? Yeah, good. We won.
Yeah. He's the nonchalant boss.
Bro. I'd be losing my marbles if I want to race.
100%.
I'd be losing it.
He's got a hell of a hairline, but...
Yeah. Well,
can fucking drive.
He can drive. And you know what? Like, full respect to him. Again, man, there's no loyalty. Look what happened with Alpine. Look at Mark Webber, his manager, undercutting Ricciardo at McLaren. Like, you know what I mean? There's no... That is the type of sport that there is... It is eat or be eaten.
Yeah.
And Oscar is taking advantage of, you know, his personality and ability to do that with a smiling face.
Yeah.
And that's why McLaren have re-signed him for another two or three at $20 million.
Yeah, wow.
Bro, amazing.
He's
amazing.
He's a remarkable talent. And you're right, talking about how Mark Webber, like obviously his manager, got him that seat at McLaren, kind of bypassing Alpine after Alpine said, "Oh, we're gonna have Oscar Piastri," and then he just flat out said on Twitter, "No, sorry,
that's not what's
going
happening."
on."
And poor Otmar copped it with that too.
Yeah, big time.
You know, I feel sorry for him.
He's done a few like podcast tours and talking about it.
Yeah,
but that's just like you said, like it just adds to the evidence of how cutthroat Formula One is. It's
100%. That's what it is.
Like most companies, you're just a number, but fucking
100%.
It's kind of depressing to see that you can be like the highest of highs in Formula One and still just cut out. It doesn't matter. They tried to do it with Horner, you know.
Yeah, Horner survived that
barely
WhatsApp bullshit, but anyway.
They made a big episode about it in Drive to Survive,
they did,
right?
Yeah, they did.
But they lapped that up.
Of course. It's drama, mate. But what about on TikTok, all that shit I was setting you about, like Drive to Survive influencers getting like passes into that, all these different media things, especially with WRC as well. And
oh, yeah. WRC, not as much.
Not as much, but...
Well, Formula One, it's changed. It's now...
it's a fashionable... Bro, I'm sorry. LVMH is the title sponsor. Louis Vuitton.
What's MH? But
LVMH is the Louis Vuitton something group. It's like the overarching people that own it.
Because I saw the LVMH. I wondered what MH was.
So that used to be Rolex. Now it's LVMH.
Well, you've seen it's Tag.
Now it's Tag as well.
Tag doing the timekeeping.
That's right. Tag Heuer. It's a sign of the times, mate. Like, a fashion brand being the fucking title sponsor of once predominantly... I'm going to say a male-dominated sport where most men were
it was never really quite celebrity status. Like there was always a lot of money. Bernie Ecclestone always kept it quite 100%. Like a tight-knit group, and that was his big thing, right?
Yeah.
He didn't really like handing out passes for anyone and everyone.
That's right.
Now it's like
at the end of the day, now
few thousand followers on Instagram.
Yeah, you get a media pass.
Yeah,
I know, but Not to say that it's a bad thing. Like I'm happy that it's just a shift in society. It's a shift in the sport. At the end of the day, it's about making money, profit. You know, stakeholders always get paid. I wonder if
the same influencers get the same passes at Saudi Arabia this weekend.
I fucking doubt it. They don't even drink alcohol in that country. Right?
Same for Bahrain too. I don't think they celebrated with any champagne for McLaren.
Don't. I think it's rose water.
Yeah, on the podium. That's another thing, actually. I'm glad that Moe sponsoring the champagne on the podium again. Cause
that used to be
that Ferrari brand, which wasn't even champagne.
No,
because
champagne needs to be from France.
Exactly.
Otherwise, just sparkling wine.
Exactly.
Wine. Yeah.
But it's Moe now again, and that's always been part of. I feel like it's always been an integral part of Formula One.
Yeah.
Because you always saw it on the podium. 100%. It was a shame it disappeared, but I'm glad they're back. You obviously see the Louis Vuitton fucking box on the podium.
Yeah,
that's so extra.
I'm sorry, I can't deal with that. I cannot.
Oh, man. But looking at the championship, Norris leads on 77 points with Piastri only 3 points behind.
Yep.
So it's super tight at the top. Max going above and beyond of what that car is capable of. So he's on 69 points, 5 behind Piastri. So he's doing his best. Carrying that team.
Yep.
Which is incredible because he's got like more points than most other teams on the grid now.
Yeah.
But yeah, Yuki Tsunoda needs to. He did all right over the weekend.
Yeah.
He struggled in Japan.
Look, he definitely has done better than what Liam has. But
he was only a few tenths off, like in quali and that sort of thing this round in Bahrain. But it seemed like Max was just on another level in Japan, and no one had an answer to him, and Yuki especially. So
that's just pure skill from Max.
Yeah, it's just a generational
and obviously that
talent.
car wasn't performing in Bahrain really well for whatever reason. But yeah, let's see, man. There's so many more races to go. Certain cars suit certain tracks.
Of course.
There was a bit of that talk about the McLaren flexi wing, the way it was deflecting more than.
Yeah, nothing really came
about from that. So it must be FIA compliant. Like you can see it in videos where when it's doing top speed and the DRS is open, that rear wing does deflect back a bit, reducing drag.
Yeah.
But look,
nothing really came of it.
Nothing came of it, so we're just going to assume that it's compliant. And what about
I thought they were going to get done for it too.
What about Dawn?
Oh, yeah.
Mick Dawn Maheading.
Yeah.
Right?
Jack.
Yeah. Going through that corner
it's
with DRS open because the simulator said it's possible.
Pure rookie error.
That's just stupidity. Sorry.
Yeah, but I mean, all the other drivers knew.
Right?
Yeah.
All the other drivers knew, and I understand his head is on the chopping block and he wanted to do something different to maybe gain an advantage.
I don't think it was that. I think he didn't know.
You don't reckon?
No, I don't think anyone with like any sane mind is going to go in there flat with DRS open.
But why is he doing it when everyone else is not? What,
I think he made a mistake. He didn't know to turn it off manually.
Oh, right, yeah.
Because
I thought the story was that he tried it in the sim and it worked.
Well, I think the story was he could stay flat through that first corner in the sim, which doesn't make sense to me either, because how different is that simulator then? I don't think that's not a very good simulator.
But how do the physics relate to that?
Sorry?
How do the physics relate to that? They don't.
In that simulator, it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't work.
So it's a poor simulator, is what I'm saying. But yeah, you have to have the DRS closed to turn in at least for that first corner. It's fine to go flat, but you got to close it manually.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
and you won't close it unless you. I haven't clarified this, but I don't know if the DRS closes once you come off full throttle. I don't think that's the case. I think you have to hit the brakes
for it to close, to initiate it to close.
So it's either
I always thought it was
either brake pressure or manually closing.
I always thought it was based on certain areas of the track.
No, it's not GPS run.
Do you know what I mean? Where it would automatically close it, or it automatically opens if you're within that 1 second.
That's why they don't have it at 130R at Suzuka. Because you can go flat through there.
Yeah, okay.
And if they enable drivers to have the DRS open leading up to that corner, that's a typically flat corner now. That wouldn't be flat with the DRS open.
Yeah.
So I think they just inhibit, or prohibit any sort of risk with anyone riding that through that flat and then causing a massive crash that, Jack Dillon had at that corner. Huge. So
it's like he didn't get hurt, man, honestly.
I think DRS is deactivated with brake pressure. I think you can, for example, DRS open halfway through the straight and come off the throttle. I think it'll stay open for you. I don't think it closes then. Not until there's brake pressure applied. And so they can go through that corner without having to hit the brakes all the way through.
I know what you're saying. Because he didn't hit the brakes, it might not have initiated the close process.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying now. Okay. See, I always thought it makes sense.
If you're driving behind someone beyond a second, you don't have DRS.
No, you don't.
You can go through that corner flat.
Yeah.
That first part.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
So they're trained in that way to do that. Right? But if you're in qualifying and you've got DRS open or you're following someone with DRS open, you can't do that. You just don't have that rear grip balance.
No, you don't. No.
So
it makes sense to me that the DRS would close as soon as you take your foot off the full throttle.
Yeah, but I don't think it does.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
I don't think it does. Just because...
But is that an FIA rule? Are they all... Does the process work the same for every single car?
Yeah. I think that's
it's just a flat out rule that it's stipulated in the rules that that's the way DRS works.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Well, that part. But the discrepancy between is it brake pressure or is it coming off full throttle? I don't know for sure. It's definitely brake pressure, but I don't know if it's coming off full throttle will initiate a closure of the DRS.
Yeah. We might have to confirm that with Adrian Newey. We'll just send him an email later.
Yeah, he'll take a listen.
If you're watching, Adrian,
let us know.
Let us know how this works,
or how you're integrating the Honda.
Yeah, how are you going to integrate Honda with Aston?
Has it got VTEC? No lift.
No lift.
Okay, so Saudi Arabia this weekend. Some ugly times again. 3 a.m. on Monday. Same for qualifying on Sunday. 3 a.m. for us.
Well, I'm not at work anymore come Thursday, so maybe I might stay up
one night or wake up.
Watch it.
It's the third round of a triple header.
Yeah.
So that's ending this weekend. Any predictions from you, Damien?
I'm going to go Oscar because I want him to succeed.
Yeah.
I think it'll be Oscar, Max, Lando.
Max second place.
And Lando third.
Yeah, I'm going to keep it simple with the McLaren 1-2.
Yeah.
But I think it'll be Lando just bringing it back to Oscar. So, might open up that lead a little bit at the front for him. But,
let's see.
Just to and froing between the two of them. I might just go Lewis Hamilton third too. I don't think it'll be Max.
Yeah, okay. LH.
Yeah, number 44.
Number 44. Same as Paul Espargaro.
Yeah, he's got that. He's got this helmet signed.
Oh yeah. 63 at the back. You got Pecco.
That's Pecco. Oh, there's.
Oh yep.
That's 44.
Yeah, Paul.
Bang, boom.
That was 2019.
Yeah. It's Marc Marquez on the top as well.
Yeah.
But it's kind of faded. I've got Marc Marquez, Jack Miller, Paul Espargaro, and Pecco at the back, and someone else I can't recognise. Might have been like Joanne Mir or something.
Joanne Mir.
Or Rins. Maybe Alex Rins.
Alex Rins.
It's going way back now, so I can't
That's
remember.
Suzuki days for Alex.
Yeah, I think it was that I...
God, I miss that Suzuki.
Yeah. Bringing on, let's bring it on to MotoGP now.
Yeah,
after
great caveat.
That weekend we had. Qatar, MotoGP, night race. That's 7 out of 8 so far for Marc Marquez.
Oh.
Continuing his domination. We had Jorge Martin return as well from Compo.
Yep.
For his first race of the season, only to be re-injured.
Re-injured really badly.
Again this time.
Broken ribs.
Yeah. How many?
6.
Oh, fuck.
6?
It's fucking all of them.
That's basically all of them. So he's going back on Compo, but now he's being investigated by Fair Work. Did he do it on purpose? No, he wouldn't have done it. No, but
Comcare.
But did you see how it happened? It looks like he's obviously come off the bike and he's skidded along the ripple strip, and that like bouncing along the ground is, even though they got the chest plate,
yeah,
it's
that's
still not
brutal.
enough, man.
Yeah. That was late. At what point was that in the race? I can't remember exactly, but
couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I think it was a right-hander because he had.
Yeah,
he finished the sprint in 16th, so pointless.
Pointless, yeah.
And then had that fall in the race. So it's sad to see.
Yeah, it's terrible for him because he obviously wanted to start the year with some momentum, man. The guy's a world champion. He's got the number 1 plate on the Aprilia.
100%.
Like, he can ride, obviously, but at the end of the day as well, no one's beaten Marc this year. It's
it looks like it. Yeah.
It's fucking evident.
Yeah. I feel terrible for Martin, though.
I do feel bad for Martin.
Because he, like you said, he's world champion. It looks like and it feels like he's taken a big hit, like of confidence.
He has.
He looks like he's missing out. He looks like he's doubtful from just looking from the outside in.
Bro, it's like anything. You fall off anything and,
Of course,
you've got to get back on it straight away. And obviously...
Well, he tried to,
He tried to.
Supermoto.
He tried to, but obviously his
injury.
injuries were too much. Like, you can't... But then, like, it was nice of Marc to say to him, look, take the time that you need and don't make the same mistake I did.
Being a bit subtle. Don't come back too quick. No.
Marc's not scared of Jorge.
Yeah,
he doesn't give a fuck about him.
No,
I think he's
right.
saying it from a friend point of view to say, look, he hurt his body. Marc hurt himself really bad.
Yeah.
Right?
Take
and
it
he's saying
easy.
to Jorge, listen, don't do what I did. Just take it easy. You're young. He's young. Obviously, he's younger than Marc. He's got time.
Well, I saw an interview with Marc and one of the editors from motorsport.com, and he asked Marc, do you have any regrets anything of that sort. And Marc said, "Oh, what do you mean, like personal or career?" He goes, "Oh, both, whatever, personal." He's like, "No, not really personal, only career. Just coming back too early from my injury."
Yeah, I think it haunts him.
He goes, Jerez 2021, or wherever he heard it again. Because he had 2020, he had the main injury, but then he said Jerez. I don't know if he was citing like 2020 or another time, but he said that was a massive mistake coming back with the arm and just trying to fight through it.
Remember all that bullshit? How they plated him up and then he re-hurt himself and they blamed him trying to open a window.
I do vaguely remember that. Yeah,
he was trying to open a window with his arm and he had to go back into surgery.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you see what he was really doing? He was doing push-ups.
Really?
That day, like 2 days after plating his fucking arm up.
He's brutal to himself.
That's just not normal, man.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's pressure from maybe not HRC management, but maybe Alberto, Puig. Have you seen? I haven't seen him. Has he been missing?
Alberto Puig?
Yeah.
Yeah, good point. I haven't noticed. Have they got rid of him?
No, I don't think they've gotten rid of him. Oh, sorry. I did read he's had to have some surgeries on his leg, the one that's fucked up.
Alberto Puig.
Because that's how he stopped. His racing career finished because he shattered his leg.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember seeing him at Phillip. He walks a bit strange, like he's got a bit of a gimpy leg.
No, but that must be why.
But that's why he's not around. It's because of he's had some surgeries too.
It's not a management thing.
No, it's not a management thing.
Might just clip farm and say it was.
Well, yeah. Yeah, that's why Alberto's not there. He's having some work done in his leg.
Okay. I thought they might have fucked him off, but
nah.
No point.
No point really with him.
Honda I saw some
reports
like people commentators saying Honda are doing a little better than Yamaha. I kind of feel like they're on par. Some things Yamaha are better. Fabio's got some glimpses of pace, and then other times it's really only Zarco, to be honest. But
where's
the Honda
Marini
is moving.
been?
I don't know. Like him and Mir.
Yeah, I know.
The two factory guys not up there. They're being belted by Zarco. But Zarco's really talented.
Oh, he's phenomenal.
He'll do well on any bike.
He's great.
It feels like.
I reckon he's one of my favourites by far.
The best, now that I think about Zarco, do you remember his long lap penalty in Brno?
Mate, I'll never forget that till the day that I cease to exist.
It's unreal.
That
I'll overlay again.
Yes,
because
that needs to be shown to everybody in the world.
And, brought back to light.
Perfection.
That, long lap penalty, dusty, dirty, hasn't been out there all weekend.
Who even won that race? I don't even know.
I don't know. But
because all I care about is how good that long lap penalty was.
I know.
Even one of the guys from work, Marc, was saying, did you see that? And just dumbfounded at how fantastic he
absolutely
did that.
Pinpoint
precision.
With all that pressure to having to do so.
Yep.
And the dirty line out on the penalty lap. And his knees over the line, his tyres within the fucking line.
Oh.
It was the personification of talent. I couldn't believe it. And it's, like you said, I don't know who even won that race or what happened other than that.
I think it was Frankie Morbidelli, to be honest with you.
Maybe.
On the
who did well over the weekend.
Yamaha. Yeah, Frankie did good.
But Bruno is coming back this year, so that's good to see.
Yeah, I like Bruno.
Like Frankie Morbidelli, we were just saying, had a bit of pace over the weekend.
Yeah.
Was leading the race even.
Yep, for a little bit.
Yep. But it seemed kind of fleeting. I don't think it'll stick around for long. But
Alex got a bit cheeky on the weekend. Alex Marquez.
Fighting with Marc.
Hit Marc a little bit from the rear, and then he fucking absolutely just pummeled into Digia. Just come in way too hot. Ruined his race.
I do wonder how long Marc and Alex can maintain this sort of, battle.
Relationship.
Well, battle between each other.
Look.
How feisty will Marc get against his own brother?
Marc will kill him.
Fucking he doesn't care.
He would. When that helmet's on, that's not his brother.
Yeah,
that's just another person.
But even worse than that, it's not even.
Bro, the guy would kill his grandma if she was racing next to him to win.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. And even I saw a video or a report that Marc and Alex's mum was saying that she would prefer Alex to win a championship because Marc has 9 of them or 8 of them already.
Share it around.
It's like share it around. It's like telling your younger brother, like, let him win for once, please, you know? Like playing a game. You don't
have to win every time.
Yeah, like playing a video game. Like, oh, just let your brother win for once.
It's true, eh?
It is.
I mean, he's a wise fox, bro. Like,
oh, yeah, he's cunning. Even
thinking about
what he did at
Austin.
At Austin.
With the timing.
Just...
And the behind the scenes footage for that.
He knew exactly what he was doing.
Yeah.
He wanted to initiate a restart because he knew others would follow. He needed 10 people to leave the grid to initiate a restart.
Is that the ruling?
That's the ruling.
Okay. Because it seemed
like they did fuck it up a little bit.
Yeah, it seemed like race direction
did stuff it up a bit.
And I don't think that was his intention. I think his intention was like he was working out. If I go, I'll start at the back.
Yeah. Look,
then it just got too.
He knew that if he left the grid with 3 minutes to go, that he would just start from pit lane. Right? He left. Pecco ran as well. And what actually initiated the restart was Maverick Vinales trying to drag his bike back to the grid, right? That's what really initiated the restart. And this is what Marc ended up being on the grid with his preferred bike with the slick tyres.
So did everyone else.
Yeah. So that's what happened.
They just abandoned
it and it was just a restart.
Which no one really expected.
No one expected.
Marc
was happy to start at the rear.
Yeah, what I was expecting was like they had in Rio. That year when Jack Miller started at the start.
But in saying that, what happened then, like for 2 weeks ago in Austin, people were punished for that because Iagura was on the grid with slicks.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like he made the right call.
Yeah.
To start that race on slicks.
Yeah.
So he got punished in the end. For making the right call. It's a little bit. It's a bit of a catch-22. I'm not saying Marc wanted for that to happen, but you know. He's very smart. Like he's thinking about things that other riders aren't, man. You know, whispering to his head mechanic.
Crew chief, yeah.
And then asking Davide, if I leave with 3 minutes to go, what happens?
Yeah, what's the go?
What's the go?
Yeah.
You know,
always
don't tell anybody else.
Yeah.
Don't tell fucking anyone else.
Yeah. Yeah, keep it close.
You know.
Pushing the envelope.
When it's 3 minutes, I'm going to run.
Yeah.
It's mad.
It's good to watch.
It's great. It's entertainment.
Yeah, 100%. It's more than that. It's just... his like innate ability and like understanding, or almost lack of, like of the rules and just like trying to push every,
any advantage, anything, to win.
Like you said, like Iagura, he made that call to be on slicks initially, and then he suffered as a result.
And Brivio did bring that up with race control after the race, saying, "What the fuck did you do? Like my guy was on slicks.
Why am I suffering?
Why am I suffering?
Why my guy's suffering? Yeah."
Right. But look, at the end of the day, unfortunately, karma happened. Marc fell off.
Yeah.
Right.
Karma or pushing too hard.
Yeah.
Karma works in mysterious ways.
It does. But look, that was a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, Qatar.
Sorry, going back to Qatar.
Yeah.
Good point.
Pretty decent race, I think.
Yeah.
Shows Marc that he's just unbeatable. And
he's walking away with it right now, but...
You know what I do like about Qatar, the night race? You can see the brakes glowing when they're on it hard. That thin strip of carbon material just starting to glow red. That's sick.
That's mad. Vinales' penalty resulting in a loss of his podium.
His crew chief and anyone in his team did not ever for the life of them think he would be leading the race or up the front.
Yeah.
Right? He had clean air.
Yeah.
Right? So the clean air is not as cold as the dirty air behind you from all the exhaust.
Not as hot.
Not as hot.
Yeah.
So when it's hot, the tyre pressure heats up.
Yeah.
So
that's why Marc sits behind Alex.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
But 16 seconds.
That's the penalty.
He ended up way down the fucking list. Man.
It's tough, eh? It's slack.
It is a bit slack, but look, the rules are the rules, and it applies to everybody. But
we don't see this in Formula One or any other racing series, maybe apart from supercars. But where they're running
a minimum tyre pressure.
A minimum tyre pressure, they're running so low with such a small amount of margin between like where they're running and where the ruling is.
Yep.
Like it's so tough to manage.
I think that'll change when Pirelli comes in.
When's that? Next year? No.
2027 with the new regs.
Yeah.
That's going to be a whole new thing. New bikes, new tyres. We'll talk about it, but
Okay.
It's unfortunately Maverick did suffer.
Yeah.
But it was good to see him up there. Like, I've got a soft spot for Maverick Vinales. I think he's fantastic. Right? He was, he has moments of brilliance that when he's on, no one will beat him. Like, nobody. Mm-hmm. He's shown it with Yamaha. He's shown it with Suzuki.
He's the only one to win with 3 manufacturers so far, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's been there 10 years now too.
Yeah.
He's a fucking solid rider.
He's a veteran, man.
Yeah.
But
I love him too, man.
yeah, I think
as a result of that penalty,
he's got too much head noise. But
You reckon?
he gets in his own head. That's what fucks him at Yamaha. The whole rev dumping it.
Yeah.
He just
he's a bit of a clicker.
Doesn't have that mental stability like to cope with things. But when he's on and he's got a good head and Maverick's happy, you give him any machine, he will win.
Yeah, it's fast. Paco moved up to second as a result, and Morbidelli arrived on the podium.
Yeah.
I saw some
Pecco's
Instagram.
copping it.
Yeah.
From the reporters and saying that, when are you going to start bringing the fight, like you can't keep being this gentleman anymore.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I think there's a bit of truth in that. He's got to show a bit more of the
dog,
that fiery Italian blood he's meant to have.
He's always maintained, I want to be the gentleman.
Yeah,
for some reason.
He wants to race clean, which is fine. There's racing clean, but there's also...
It's also Marc Marquez on the other side of the pit box, right? Like, it's a different animal.
It's a complete... it's a different atmosphere in that box now.
Have you seen, like Marc is the only one from, 2014 still on the grid.
I know.
So, he's a veteran. He's old. And he's competed against and won against the likes of, Rossi, Lorenzo,
Dovi,
Pedrosa, those top alien guys that 10 years ago he had to fight tooth and nail for race victories. I think that's something the younger generation is kind of not missing, but there was something about that era of aliens where if you could compete against them and win against them, you're just another level.
100%. On the weekend, it was just to remind me. So Marc's got 114 podiums. He's equaled Lorenzo, right? Is that showing how fucking good Lorenzo is?
True.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Smooth operator Lorenzo, man.
Yeah, always hacking away. Always. Yeah.
So.
Because before Marquez, it was him taking it to Rossi, right?
100%, man.
How good was he as well? Yeah.
Lorenzo is up there. So anyway. Marc will surpass everyone, but
it seems like
eventually.
Yeah. Like I was saying earlier, the next round is in Europe, returning to Spain.
Jerez, yeah.
Obviously, where Marc Marquez has had a massive accident, and that took him out for some time. But he raced there last year, so I'm sure his demons aren't bothering him too hard.
He's not worried about that.
That way,
I don't think he's worried about that.
That's in 2 weeks' time for Jerez. Let's get some predictions from you.
Jerez.
Hopefully Acosta's strong or starts getting up there because it's been disappointing.
Oh, mate, I've got to talk about him too.
Well, do you want to talk about him first?
Yeah, let's talk about the stuff that I think is going to happen in the near future.
We'll bring it up. Go. Do it.
Toprak will end up at HRC in 27.
Saw that.
Right?
You reckon?
Yeah, that's going to happen. Pedro will end up at HRC. They will buy him out of his KTM contract.
Yeah?
It'll either be me, I reckon it'll be me who goes, maybe next year. But Pedro will end up at Honda.
Far out.
Because that KTM, that whole debacle with the money and all this, it's got to be fucking with his head.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You reckon?
Yeah, 100%.
He hasn't quite...
And Darren Binder's done nothing.
Brad
Binder's done nothing.
Well, they're both, they're thereabouts with each other. In the races in the championship. He started strong last year in the gas Acosta, but it's not really
it hasn't
come to any fruition this year. I can't put my finger on it why he's not up there.
I think it's the mentality. I think the whole KTM noise in the background's getting to him. And it would. I think it would.
I mean, I haven't heard much about it lately. Like, there was a lot of it before the season started. But
I think they've intentionally kept it quiet, but, you know, they're talking like maybe not even been there in 27. You know, BMW buying the KTM project.
Yeah.
Who knows?
That's a lot of money.
They got the money.
They got the money, and
BMW's got the money.
I guess KTM are desperate. They'll sell it for
Bro,
whatever
they'll sell
they
it
can,
cheap.
so,
It'll be like Braun here for $1.
Yeah, £1.
£1.
Yeah.
Because to make it a legal transaction.
Yeah, I see.
So, all right, predictions for Jerez.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Pecco, Marc, Alex.
Okay. Pecco, Marc, Alex.
Yeah.
Fuck, not Marc, eh?
Nah.
It's just so hard to bet
No,
against.
because Jerez, Pecco likes Jerez, man.
I
sure
don't
he
know what
does.
to believe from Pecco anymore.
Yeah, I know.
What were we seeing for the last
don't
3 years? He was
Let's see.
dominating for parts and like clawing back that 91-point gap to
Yeah.
Fabio in 2021. Like all this time, Marc Marquez wasn't there.
I know.
So, like, how?
I think this extra. He's sick and tired of being asked about when he's going to start firing up a bit. I think he needs to prove to the world, especially to the motorcycling MotoGP fan base,
To himself and to Marc,
yeah,
the
to
other
show
side of
that
the pit
he's not
box.
here to fuck around. He needs to win sprint and.
It's so
Grand
tough,
Prix.
man, because Marc rides like so front heavy, and like that was Pecco's thing. Demon on the brakes, smooth on the way out.
Yeah.
Marc is, I don't know. I wouldn't consider him smooth, but like,
He's a bit more abrupt.
yeah, but
somehow
he's
he
so
makes it
strong
work.
on the front end and
Oh,
on
yeah,
braking.
100%.
It's just so hard to get past him.
Yeah, his racecraft is phenomenal.
Yes, that
You
too.
know what I mean? And that's from experience. That's from racing people like Lorenzo, whose racecraft is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Dovi, you know, Rossi. So
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to have Marc and Pecco 1 and 2, and then Acosta third.
okay,
I think, you know, seeing Maverick up there with KTM Tech 3, obviously, you know, hopefully that transitions over to the factory side and they
Maybe.
can, you know, draw some inspiration on that and, you know,
Yeah.
get Pedro up there. I think he deserves it, so
it'd be a good confidence boost for him.
100%. I feel bad not having Acosta up there. I love watching him.
Yeah, he's great. He's
yeah,
great. He's
just like
he's another one.
young bull.
He's sick and tired of being compared to Marc as well. You know, everyone's saying, "Oh, he's the next Marc Marquez." It's a big fucking shoe to fill. You know. So
It's true.
let's see what happens, eh?
We had World Superbikes over the weekend as well in Assen.
Cathedral of Speed.
That's right. What do they call in MotoGP? The
Cathedral?
TT? No.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, the Assen TT. I'm pretty
Call
sure
it
they
something
do.
else. TT. Is it Assen TT?
Yeah. You know what
Anyway.
TT stands for?
Tourist Trophy.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. It's a tough one though. Not many people know that.
No, they don't.
I had to ask someone.
Yeah. Someone at work told me.
Yeah. I've got these results for World Superbikes up here. We got for race 1, Bulliga.
Gulaga,
So
Locatelli.
all Italian. Petrucci in third.
Surprised to see the Yamaha up there, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Locatelli won the second race on the Sunday. So he's, you know, moving up a little more.
Yeah.
For the Super Pole, we saw Sam Lowe's up on the podium
Wow.
again. And that
Ducati.
was a bit on the like on the Insta, on the socials.
Yep.
Like how big a deal that was, because he hasn't been
Really
up there.
nowhere.
His brother, is it Alex Lowe's?
Alex Lowe's, yeah.
Alex Lowe's was the one who was racing more in MotoGP or Moto2, was it? I always get the twins mixed up.
Sam was racing Moto2 last year. I'm pretty sure.
Nah,
Wasn't he?
Yeah.
Was it Sam or Alex? One of them.
I can't
He was
remember.
racing for Marc VDS.
Yeah. Now they've got Marc VDS in World Superbikes here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Along with,
So that's
Moto2.
Sam has gone from Moto2 Marc VDS to WSBK.
I believe so.
That's how it is. Yeah. That's right.
Might be. We'll have to double check.
Yeah.
But yeah, Top Rack got the race win for the Super Pole. So he's still thereabouts.
He'll end up at like I said before, he'll end up at Honda WSBK first.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they want a championship real bad. They've spent so much money. And they need someone like Top Rack to provide that for him.
Yeah.
For them, just
They can
based
do
on
better
pure
than-
talent.
They can do better than Lekuona.
Yeah.
So Toprak, if they can get his signature,
Yep. But then that's his gateway into HRC MotoGP.
Yeah.
I think.
I don't know what his apprehension is to go into MotoGP. Like, I know he had that test on the Yamaha after he won, but they just never really transitioned him over.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
Like,
tires are a big thing
true.
because
Are they
like
going to be Pirellis?
that's what I mean. This is where it's lining up for him.
Mm-hmm.
They'll be Pirelli tires. Hopefully with the HRC team. I think that's what's going to end up happening. But yeah, I think the reason he never really went to the MotoGP circus at the moment was he did test with Yamaha on the M1, and I think just the such a big difference between like carbon brakes and steel brakes, tires. He's really, really hard on the pointy end of the bike.
Okay. And the Yamaha, it's not quite like that.
Well, the Yamaha's very good at the front, like on the front end, but like he's even more. He's like more than Marc.
Oh, really?
Crazy on the front.
He does all their stoppies.
Yeah, exactly. So like imagine the amount of pressure he's putting. But also those MotoGP bikes are super stiff. Like
Yeah, they are totally
they're
different that way.
completely different. Man.
Yeah.
It's a big step.
They are very different that way.
There's there's basically no stiffness there's no flexibility in the chassis.
It's chalk and cheese.
Yeah, it's chalk and cheese.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, who was the last? Was it Cal Crutchlow to come from World Superbikes
Yeah, Cal come from World Superbikes to race in MotoGP.
to MotoGP to have that like avenue?
Yeah.
Sort of like a check valve, It only seems to go one way. They only go MotoGP to World Superbikes. It's a lot rarer. But like, it used to be not quite that rare that you would have superbikes going to. Now you have like,
It's the other way around now. You go from MotoGP to superbikes.
Yeah, but like for younger guys, they would sometimes have. In the past, I think who was? I think it's Manuel Gonzalez. I don't think he was doing the Moto 2
or Moto 3
in like Europe, but then he moved straight to Moto 2, or was he coming? I think he came from like a World Superbikes
or World Supersport.
Yeah,
the 600s.
Scene.
Yeah.
So it can still happen for younger people, but it just doesn't happen very often anymore.
No, not really. Fuck, who was the other guy? He raced with Repsol Honda for a bit as a stand-in.
Xavi Vieje?
No. Who was the Kawasaki guy from WSBK who won like 6?
Jonathan Ray.
Johnny Ray raced in HRC MotoGP for a little bit.
Yeah, that was some years ago.
Yeah, that's some years. I think it was like within like the Danny Pedrosa era and stuff like that.
Never quite
gelled, but there is a bit of transition to it. But yeah, I think once you're in WSBK, that's where you stay. Apart from people like Toprak and Well, Jonathan Ray was like 6-time world champion. Yeah,
like
he was.
If he couldn't do it, then who can?
That's right.
It's tough, Like Cal Crutchlow was quite reputable.
He was.
He won some races and was thereabouts, but
he was a factory Ducati rider too for a bit.
True, yeah. To make it all the way to Ducati factory, it's a big deal. Ducati factory now is not what that was back then.
No. It's completely different now.
Completely different animal, but
Bulliger's killing it, but
well, he's someone who came from Moto 2, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's right.
Not super strong in Moto 2, but very
He's really
strong
found
here.
his strides in World Superbike. And he was in Supersport as well. He made that transition into the factory WSBK Ducati team.
What about Michael Ruben Rinaldi from factory Ducati back down to Supersport?
Yeah.
Unreal.
Yeah, I don't know. To make way for Bulliger, wasn't it?
Would have been, yeah. Like it's crazy. No other team picked him up to stay on the the 1 liter level of bikes, but
yeah.
I mean, hopefully he made enough money in the 1 liter section before going back down to 600. Because how much could you be making there?
I wish that WSBK spent more money on fucking advertising.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even realize TT was on, Assen was on.
They always have big gaps in their calendar.
They have big gaps, but like, put it out there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I know some people say, "Oh, you're not a true fucking motorsport fan if you don't." That's bullshit, mate. We all got lives.
Yeah.
That other
You need
things are
more and more
happening. I just
exposure.
need a little bit more exposure to say, "Oh yeah, that's right." WSBK's on this week without having to sit there on my computer and searching. Oh, I wonder when it's next.
Have you noticed the difference though between fans between MotoGP and World Superbikes?
Yeah.
There is a difference.
There is a difference.
Like people who ride bikes follow World Superbikes.
That's right. They follow that more than MotoGP,
Which is always strange to me, right?
Yeah.
MotoGP fans seem to just be more motorsport fans.
That's right. I think so.
People who love like Formula One,
Yep.
love MotoGP.
Any sort of motorsport.
I don't think it's something related to like, oh, I have a super bike, I'm going to follow World Superbike. I don't think it's that.
Nah.
I think they just prefer it. It feels more real to them.
Yeah.
Maybe that is the connection.
They can relate to it.
Well, maybe that is the connection, but
Yeah.
in my mind, I would think you would love the pinnacle of motor racing for motorbikes.
Some people
being MotoGP.
will only go to Phillip Island to watch World Superbike.
Exactly.
They are not interested in going to MotoGP at Phillip Island at all.
There's a few people I know who are like that. It's interesting that they do that. And I don't think it's to do with money. I don't think it's to do with like...
No, I don't think it's to do with anything. Maybe the weather a little bit because it is better in February.
True.
But like you said, you're right. Like WSBK fans are more... They usually...
Ride bikes.
And a lot of them make that pinnacle, that pilgrimage to Phillip Island riding there. You know what I mean? A lot of people do it with MotoGP as well.
They do.
But more so WSBK.
I think a MotoGP fan, you know, like, how do I put this? A World Superbikes fan definitely rides bikes.
100%.
Definitely rides bikes, right?
Rides a bike.
1,000, whatever.
1,000, jixes.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But MotoGP fans don't necessarily ride bikes.
We don't.
No.
Fuck.
Case in point.
You know what I mean?
A lot of people we know love the sport.
Yeah.
You know, obviously all the boys, we love the sport.
Yeah.
We know it deeply. We can watch a race and say, wow, like look how far he's leaning over. You can kind of understand the body language of a rider and the bike connection and interaction. But we don't ride bikes.
No, we don't.
You know?
And I've actually, people at work have said that to me. Like, you're sitting on a podcast talking about things that you don't even know about.
Well.
But it's not true. Yeah. It's because...
If you can read a bike on like watching on TV,
and
you
look,
can
that was said in jest. That wasn't taken. That was just more just having a laugh, right?
Yeah.
But
it stings.
It stings a little bit. It stings a little bit because I wish I did ride a fucking bike.
Yeah, but yeah, definitely World Superbikes riders, fans ride bikes. MotoGP
but you know what too?
guys.
I think like especially people like me and you who have done like trades in engineering backgrounds appreciate the MotoGP. All the technical things behind it.
Yeah,
and
same,
F1.
And same with F1, yeah.
Same as F1. Not so much V8 supercars because they don't really relate as much. But definitely like the pinnacle of motorsport has a lot of engineering and that type of background. And that's what really like brings me to it as well. Do you know what I mean? Seeing how they do things and just the extremes of how things can work.
Pushing the envelope for engineering and racing.
That's right.
Yeah. No, that's true. But like you said, supercars. Wrapping up MotoGP. Big weekend, but yeah, Jerez in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we didn't make it for ASBK at Phillip Island either. Because it was raining.
Yeah, it was pretty bad weather. But
sort of, yeah.
I watched throughout the weekend though, and the nights. But for bringing it back to Australia, well, New Zealand as well. Supercars had a Ford three-peat at Taupo in New Zealand.
Yeah.
It's funny hearing Martin Brundle still call them V8 supercars at the Formula One.
Yeah.
Like, when he's saying, he was talking about like how all the different cars will be putting down rubber and that can kind of help or not help the Formula One cars.
Oh, when he's talking about Melbourne.
Yeah. And he's talking about, we've got the V8 supercars racing this week, and people still call it V8 supercars.
Yeah.
It's not just supercars.
Well, they're fucking V8s.
I know, but
that's the whole point of it.
But they've tried to move away from that.
Well, that's the biggest stupidity I've ever heard. People want that.
That's what they call it supercars.
They don't call it V8 supercars anymore.
No, it's not V8 supercars.
Dumb. Unless you've got something else in that grid that's not a V8, then call it supercars.
Yeah.
All right. But as far as if they've still got V8 engines, which I know they do,
5 litres.
5 litres. As per the regs, it's fucking V8s.
if it looks like a V8,
And sounds like a V8.
it's probably a V8.
It's probably a V8.
Yep.
None of this electric car shite.
They're also not cross-plane. What's the other one?
Flat plane. None of them are flat plane now.
No, but the supercars.
No, they're all cross plane.
Are they?
Yeah.
That's
The only
like
flat plane.
That's like Ferrari.
Yeah. The only flat planes that they had was the Volvo and the Mercedes when they were at in V8 supercars. They ran a flat plane crank.
Are you sure that's the one that make the sound, or is that
Yes.
the cross-plane?
No, cross plane is like a normal V8 lumpy.
Oh, okay.
The flat plane was sound.
That's what Ferraris use.
That's what Ferraris had in their cars.
Okay, yeah. Like more European V8s use a flat plane.
I'm pretty sure, like, even the latest M5, if you hear it, it doesn't sound like a V8. It's a flat plane crank.
Okay.
It doesn't have that lumpy.
American and Australian V8s are more cross-plane. Okay.
And that's like the Yamaha R1, M1. That's a cross-plane 4-cylinder.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
That's why it's got that sort of lumpy sound compared to our CBR 1000 that's got a flat plane crank. It you can hear the difference.
But yeah, that's all the motorsport wrapped up.
Is there any is there any updates for WRC?
Well, that's on next weekend. Is that next weekend? I need to check the date. Yeah, no, sorry, my bad. Yeah, so WRC returns back to the tarmac the next weekend.
Oh.
They're at I mean, you probably haven't heard this yet. They're at the Canary Islands for this rally.
Where's that?
It's like off Spain.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, pure tarmac.
Well, that's all right. I like tarmac.
Tarmac's the best.
I reckon it's cool.
It's like super smooth tarmac as well. So they're going to be super low.
Super low, super grippy.
Yeah, they look real tough in that setup.
Yeah.
All the usual suspects are going to be there with the ever formidable Sebastian Ogier coming back this round.
Sick.
But yeah, like I said, low and sleek setups.
Where were they previously? Were they
Kenya.
Really dusty? They had the snorkels and that?
Yeah.
That looks sick.
That's sick too.
I actually really love that.
And they're not as outrageous snorkels as they used to be, right? Like where you could clearly see. Now they're a bit more aerodynamic, right? Like
they are. They actually sit on top of the roof and they're sucking air like backwards.
That's right. And they're kind of more flat.
Yep.
But like back in the day, seeing those old Celikas with the big snorkels.
That was the best.
And
the
that
Castrol Celica.
Yeah, and the Rexies, the 555s.
Oh.
That sounded, that signature Rexy boxer sound.
I love that.
Awesome. But yeah, that's next weekend for WRC. But that's pretty much everything wrapped up as well. It's about an hour done. So, like I said, Jerez next weekend for MotoGP, and we've got a break between now and then for Formula One after Saudi Arabia this weekend.
Yep.
And they're going to Miami.
Oh, yeah.
After Saudi Arabia. So we're going to start stepping each week and is going to have MotoGP, F1.
Yeah, alternating.
So that's going to be good for us here in Australia to start watching again, as the European season kicks off.
Yep.
And then the night races start back up.
It's starting to get a little bit cold now. You got a blankie on. And
getting old, mate.
I love it. Nice cup of tea.
Yeah. That's sick.
Cruising.
Oh, well, thanks for listening, everyone, and watching.
Yeah, thank you.
Getting back out onto Spotify and YouTube. So
it's been a little bit, but we'll.
Yeah, it's hard to stay consistent. This thing, I'm going to be honest, but we've got to try and deliver for everyone. So
that's right.
Hope you enjoyed the listen and viewing, and we'll see you next time on the Motor Radar.
Thank you.
Take care.
See ya.